Hello students, welcome in the class of Standard 9, Science and Technology. Today we are going to learn lesson number 1, Matter in our surrounding. Let us start that. First of all, when we, to start the lesson, matter in our surrounding. So when we see in our surrounding, what we are seeing? We are seeing animals, we are seeing plants, vehicles, water, mountains, stars, many things. When we think of these things, the first question arises, what these things are made of, right? So these things, we can say that these things are made up of matter. What is matter then? It is said that matter is a thing which have mass and occupy space. Okay? The matter is a thing which have mass and occupy space. See, vehicle have mass, occupy space, so it is matter. Water have mass and occupy space, it is matter. Even the air also, we cannot see it, but the air occupy space and it has mass too. So it is also a matter. Anything we see which have mass and which occupy space, it is the matter. So in the universe, all the things are made up of matter. So we are trying to know more about matter. How many types of matter are there? Right? In the ancient time, our Indian ancient time, the Rishi Munis have classified the matter into 5 types, which is said that, which is like as it is air, earth, water, sky and fire. So ultimately the matter is of 5 types: air, water, earth, fire and sky. All the things which is made up of matter are made up of these 5 things. Okay, our Indian mythology says that anything can be made out of these 5 things and can be destroyed into these 5 things. But that is our Indian mythology. But the modern science classify the matter according to its physical property and its chemical property. So in this chapter we are going to learn the types of matter based on its physical property. That is mainly 3 types: solid, liquid and gaseous. Now first of all, what is the physical nature of matter? When we see any matter, what is its nature? How it appears? So according to the modern science, it is said that matter is made up of particles. Earlier, the first thing comes in our mind from how the matter is made up. So first of all, it was believed that matter is like a continuous, like a water. Like there is no any distinction. It is a continuous phase, but no, it is like a chalk stick. Take a chalk stick and try to break it. Ultimately, we are breaking the chalk stick into smaller and smaller pieces, and ultimately we are getting it into a last particle. So this is the matter. This is the nature of any matter. Any matter is made up of the particles. So each particle come together and making a whole matter, whether it is a solid matter, liquid matter or gaseous matter. Each and every matter is made up of particles. Which particles? The particles of matter are very small. These particles, size of this particle will be very small. That it beyond our imagination. We can't imagine how small this particle are because we cannot see. Water is made up of particles, but we cannot see the particles of water because the size of the particle is very small. So it is confirmed that matter is made up of particles and these particles are very small. So what if we cannot see this particle, then how can we identify? So there are some characteristics of particles of matter. In any matter, the particles have some common properties. Each and every particle are having this property. So there are mainly 3 characteristics of particles. First one, particles of matter have space between them. For that, we can take one example. Take a water. and add sugar in it. So when you add a sugar in the glass of water, the sugar is dissolved. Where these sugar particles are going? We can say that the sugar particles are going in the water. So, and where the particles of sugar are going between the space, going into the space between the water particles. It means that water particles have space between them. And in this space, the sugar particles are going. So it is said that particles have space between them. Even the air particles present in our room, in our surrounding, it has space between them. Even the solid also have space between them. Second property, particles of matter are continuously moving. You can smell the smell of food immediately after it is cooked. So why? Because the particles of air are continuously moving. So the smell of food which is cooked some distance away, you are getting the smell of it after a few moments. It means that the air particles are moving which take the smell from one place to the other. So this proves that particles of matter are continuously moving. Not just air, even water particles are also moving inside the matter, and even solid particles are also moving. Third property, particles of matter attract each other. For that, we can take the example. When we take a chalk stick and an iron nail, when you try to break the chalk stick, it is broken easily. And when you try to break the iron nail, it is not broken easily. So why? Because the particles of iron nail is tightly bound to each other. They are attracting, the particles are attracting each other so much high that it can't be broken down. While the force between the particles in the chalk stick is less. That's why it can be broken easily. So each and every matter, the particles of matter is attracting each other. Then the matter is formed, because to give a shape to the solid particles has to hold together, and this holding together we are calling it attraction. This the attraction, the force of attraction hold them together in a solid. So, and even the particles in liquid also have attraction, but compared to the solid it is less, and in air will be very negligible. That's why the air particles are going very far away from each other. But still, particles of matter attract each other, and this is called the intermolecular forces. So these three properties are the three properties for particle of the matter. In universe, whatever we see, whatever is matter, that means whatever have mass and occupy space, all things are made up of matter. Okay, and this matter is made up of particles. Read up to this. We will learn the types of matter in the next class, next lecture. Thank you.